welcome to Jersey City Pilates. In today's class, you don't need any props, but if you have access to a wall or something like this where you can put your feet up against a counter, cabinet, the back of a couch, anything like that will be great. This will be a pretty low energy, low key class, and we'll get started in just a second. Come to stand somewhere on your mat, doesn't matter where, and you're just gonna soften your knees so that they're nice and soft. And then just nod your chin. And then think about lengthening through the front of your chin, through the front of your neck, up towards the ceiling. Your knees nice and soft. Just notice your feet settling into the ground. And then nod your chin again. Look down. It can touch your chest, that's fine, but think more about length through the back of the neck as you lower your head down. And then lift it back up. Again, keeping that length so you're not just letting your head fall. And down one more time. And lift it up. And then nod your chin again. And then this time, keep rolling down one vertebrae at a time with those nice soft knees. Let your arms come to hang towards the floor. Think about the crown of your head reaching. If you need to bring your feet wider than hip distance, by all means, go for it. Just find a place that feels good here. Take a big inhale. And then exhale. Think about finding a little bit more length through your spine. And then bend your knees even more. Roll yourself up one vertebrae at a time. Back to stand nice and tall. And then again, nod your chin. Roll yourself all the way down one vertebrae at a time. Moving nice and slowly here. You can let your hands drag down the front of your legs if that helps. And just let them fall out in front of you. Shift your weight here into your toes and then back into your feet. Just notice your feet want to tense up if you go one way or the other. Also how this changes the stretch in the back of your legs. And then find a nice neutral spot where you're even on your feet. Take a big inhale and then exhale. Find a little more length through your spine. And then bend your knees, peel yourself all the way up one vertebrae at a time. Reach your arms up overhead and then clasp your thumbs. And then from here, just side bend up and over to the left. Take a nice deep breath in towards your ribs on your left side. And then exhale, stack yourself all the way back up. Inhale over to the left on your exhale. Inhale into your ribs. And then exhale, come to stand all the way back up tall. Let your arms come down by your side and then face long ways on your mat. Again, with your feet hip distance or a little wider, your choice. Nod your chin, roll yourself all the way down here, and then walk yourself out into a plank. You can be on your feet or on your knees, and then just think about finding that length through your spine, and then drop your knees if they aren't already on the ground and bring your knees a little wider if you need and sit back into a child's pose. And then from here, take a big inhale and then exhale. Feel yourself descend towards the floor. And then again, a nice big inhale and exhale. Relax into the ground a little bit more. Go ahead and walk yourself over to the left side of your mat. Reach through the fingers on the left side, or on your right side, while your hands are over to the left, and then reach through your right sitting bone in opposition, getting a nice stretch through that right side. And then come back through the center and reach your hands over to the left, sitting bones back towards wall behind you, reaching in opposition with that left hand and a little bit more with the right hand too. And then come onto all fours. We'll do a little bit of just breathing here. So find a nice neutral spine, just like you did a moment ago in your plank, and take a big inhale. Let your abdominals descend towards the floor, and then exhale. Feel them pick up away from the ground. And then again, inhale. And then exhale. draw your ribs and engage your pelvic floor, lift through the abdominals. And then this time, keep that tension a little bit as you inhale. This time, inhaling your ribs wide, and then exhale, feel everything zip up in the center again. And again, inhale. And exhale. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Keeping that connection, you're gonna inhale, find a little bit more length through the neck. And then as you exhale, tuck the tailbone under, round the hips up towards the ribs. Press your spine up towards the ceiling in a nice rounded back position, and then come through on your next breath into that extension. Widen through the sitting bones, lengthen through the front of the chest, keep the abdominals drawing away from the floor, and then round your spine up towards the ceiling again. Think about rounding evenly as you can through your whole spine. So you don't want to just be in this super arch back through your upper back and shoulders, but then have no rounding through your low back. So really focus on drawing the ribs towards the hips to open up through that low back. And then you don't have to press very hard through the upper back. Probably a terrible example of what to look like for this at the moment. Widen your sitting bones, lengthen through the front of the body, and lengthen your collarbones through your arms. And then one more time, round up towards the ceiling. Drawing those hips towards your ribs, think about opening up through the front of the hip, and then come back through your extension one last time. Good. From here, you are going to come up onto tall kneeling. And we're just gonna do 2 more roll downs from this position. And just notice how this engages your hamstrings, the backs of the legs, and your calves. Nod your chin, and you're just gonna start to roll yourself down. Trying to keep your hips as upright as possible. Go as low as you can. Feel your abdominals engage. And exhale as you move all the way back up tall. Tuck the tailbone under, have the glutes engaged. Round down 1 vertebrae at a time. Trying to keep those hips stacked, pressing down through the feet. Relax the shoulders. And stack your spine all the way back up tall. One more time. Nod your chin, roll down. Keep moving through the pelvis, and then curl yourself back up 1 vertebrae at a time, and then lengthen your arms out in front of you. Press your feet down into the floor, and then hinge back, shoulders, hips, knees, everything moving at the same rate, and then lengthen yourself up nice and tall. And then again, hinge back like you're stuck between 2 panes of glass. Ribs are connected towards your hips, and then come up tall. 2 more. Moving nice and slowly here with control. Again, find that connection so you're not arching your back, sending your ribs back behind you before your hips go. All the way. And then come onto your quick time to find that wall. We're gonna do a little bit of bridging. I'm just gonna turn around and place my feet on a shelf, or actually in this case, I'm gonna place them up against the front of this chest. And think about externally rotating through the upper arms, being nice and relaxed through the upper body. And just notice if having your feet lifted versus on the floor changes how you feel through your pelvis. Maybe your back ribs are a little bit flatter on the floor. You're gonna bring your hands right onto your abdominals or your ribs, whichever you find to be a better cue for you. And you're gonna take a nice big inhale. Feel your ribs expand wide to the side, and then exhale. Feel everything draw in towards the center. And then exhale, the ribs expand. And then inhale, ribs expand. And then exhale, draw everything in towards one another. One more breath like this. And then exhale. Good. Continuing to think about that cinching sensation, drawing everything in towards the center and connecting, but not squeezing, just drawing it in. You're gonna take a big inhale, and then on your exhale, you're gonna tuck your tailbone under, press your feet into whatever you have them resting on, and peel yourself up 1 vertebrae at a time. Keeping the tailbone tucked under. If you feel like your shoulders are starting to slide away, you can adjust your distance. I'm not going to go up into a full bridge. I'm gonna stay here and then peel yourself all the way back down, one vertebrae at a time, really taking care to release all the way through that low back and release to neutral. And then again, tuck the tailbone under, press the feet straight forward into whatever surface you're using for support or the ground, and then peel yourself up, keeping your shoulder blades on the ground. And then roll yourself back down. Check in on your knees and make sure that they're not falling out to the side here. One more time, peel yourself up. Good, and then come halfway down and then find a neutral pelvis. So your hips are lifted, you're in this neutral pelvis, and you're just gonna float your right arm up and then float your right arm down. Left arm will float up and left arm down. 2 more to each side, right arm lifts, left arm lifts. Thinking like you're moving through molasses here. Nice and slow, nice and steady. Last one to the left. And then from here, make sure you're in a nice neutral pelvis. You're gonna float your right leg off just a few inches and then place it back down. And then float the left leg off and place it back down. And right leg lifts and down. Left leg and down. Whatever height your hips are at, that is totally fine. They don't need to be high off the floor. And lift. And lower. You can bring your hands onto your hips to check in, making sure they're staying nice and square. Pressing your feet straight forward or down, depending on what you're using and where your feet are in space. One more time to the right. And then to the left. And then lower your feet down. Peel yourself all the way down to the floor. And then one more time, we're just gonna roll all the way back up. Whatever the top of your height is. Take a big inhale and then exhale. As you feel everything draw into towards the center, peel yourself down one vertebrae at a time and draw your knees into your chest and gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. Good, and then place your feet on the ground. Go ahead and come back to lay on your mat itself. Bring your feet nice and wide and then just give yourself little windshield wiper legs from one side to the other. We're gonna do 1 or 2 normal bridges here just to notice the difference. Good, and then bring your feet hip distance. Think about pressing straight down into the floor as you lift your hips straight up. And then from here at the top, tuck your tailbone under, feel the connection between your ribs and your hips, and peel yourself all the way down. And release at the bottom. Press your feet down to lift up, tuck the tailbone under, and then curl yourself all the way back down. One more time, lift straight up. Peel yourself down one vertebrae at a time. And now we're gonna reverse. So you're gonna tuck the tailbone under, roll through the low back, peel yourself up, feel the hamstrings engage, heels towards your shoulders, and then find your neutral spine and lower straight down. Tuck the tailbone under, round yourself up one vertebrae at a time. Pausing at the top, find your neutral, and then lower yourself back down. Last one. Rolling through ribs to hips. Ribs in this direction, I guess. And then lower yourself all the way down. Bring your hips back up into a bridge. You can get up there however you prefer. And then find a place where you can stay again. We're gonna be lifted in a bridge one more time, moving our limbs. And you're gonna bring your left leg into tabletop. Check in on your right knee, make sure it's in line with your hip, left knee in line with your shoulder, right arm extends towards the ceiling. And then you're gonna extend your right arm and left leg and bring them back to the center. If this is too much, lower your hips and just extend. and bend here. You can also be an inch off the ground for 4, 3, 2 more. Engaging through that inner thigh on the right side, last one. Lower the leg, lower the arm. Float the right leg tabletop, left arm lifts up. Extend the arm and leg, bring them back. And extend, and bring them back. Extend, and back in, using that inner thigh on the left side now. And back in, last one. Maybe 2 more actually, I can't count. Last one. Bring it back in, lower the leg, lift both arms up, curl the hips up, keeping yourself here in your bridge. Let your arms fall out to a T, and then peel yourself down 1 vertebrae at a time. Bring those legs nice and wide again, and give yourself a little windshield wiper through the legs, just letting them fall from one side to the other, gently. And then you're gonna cross your right ankle over your left leg. And then here, really think about externally rotating, gently, not forcefully, through that right upper thigh. And then grab your hands and bring your hands behind your head. Think about curling your head, neck, and shoulders up, lengthening through the front of your neck as well as the back. And then you're gonna twist and rotate, so your left elbow is gonna come up and over towards the right leg, and then come back to the center. And then twist and rotate, and back to center for 6. Keeping your legs nice and still. And with your right leg up, if you start to clench through the glutes or through that thigh or the hip flexor on that right side, your right leg will start to creep a little bit closer to you for 3, 2. Last one, pause, lifted here. Extend the leg long, externally rotated, bend the knee. Extend the leg long, externally rotated, tap the left knee with your right foot, and extend and bend. Keeping yourself rotated, you're curled up. Ribs are drawing toward your hips. I'll lower my head for 4, 3, 2, last one. Lower the leg and then lower the head, bring the right leg back to the floor. Left ankle is gonna cross over your right knee now. Both hands return behind the head. And then find that external rotation through the left leg, relaxing the hip flexor. And then curl your head, neck, and shoulders up and twist and rotate over towards the right for 8. 7, think about your ribs on the right side sliding towards the ribs on the left for 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And then you're gonna stay lifted and rotated. Left hip towards the right rib. Extend the left leg long, externally rotated, bend it back in, tap your knee, and then extend it long and bend. So your upper leg is staying still, just bending and straightening through that lower leg, opening up to the back of the knee. Straight is subjective, whatever straight today is for you. And then again, staying rotated, 2 more. Last one. Good. And then you're gonna lift your right leg up to meet your left. And you're gonna bring the soles of your feet together. Curl your hands behind your head, and then you're gonna lift up into an ab prep here, and then lower back down. And then lift up and lower down. 4 more. Legs are staying still. If the soles of your feet don't totally touch, just make a diamond shape with your legs. For 4, 3, 2, and last one. Hold at the top if you can. I'm going to lower my head. And then keeping the shape of your legs, you're gonna lower a few inches away and then bring them back in. Try to keep the bend of your knee the same as you lower and bring it back up. Excuse me. Lower and back up for 6, 5, Really using your breath here to help control the abdominals. 2. Last one. Pause with your legs at the top. Hands are behind your head. Now you're going to lower your head as you lower your legs and curl everything up to the center. And then lower your torso as you lower your legs and then bring it all in. 6 more. This can be the world's tiniest movement. 4, 3, abs descend towards the floor. 2, rather than pressing up towards the ceiling. Last one. Bring the knees into the chest and then gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. And then find a spot on your sacrum where it feels good. Hands on top of your knees, and you're going to make circles in one direction, massaging your low back. And then reverse. And then pause, and you're going to make circles in opposite directions, like you're stirring a pot, and your hip socket is the pot. Your femurs are the spoon, or whatever utensil you're using. Reverse. 2 more. Last one. This should feel nice. And then bring your legs all the way together. Your knees can be facing you, or like just be in. You don't need to be in a full tabletop here. And then you can bring your arms wide to a T, or some sort of a Y. And then you're just gonna let your legs fall together over to one side. Take a big inhale, exhale. Feel the abdominals draw you back to the center, and then twist over to the other side. Feel the abdominals draw you back in. Using your breath, this doesn't need to be a big movement. Your hip can lift as you rotate, but your shoulders should stay on the ground. This is just a twist through the lower body. And over to the left. Pull it back down to the right. Last one. Over to the left. Press down through the ribs, and then you're gonna lower your feet to the ground one at a time, and then extend them long out in front of you. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling, and then let your arms fall back over you, grabbing a nice stretch here from the toes through the fingertips. And then start to lift your arms. Once they hit your periphery, press down through the arms, lift the head, neck, and shoulders. Draw the ribs towards the hips as you peel yourself up one vertebrae at a time, or use your hands or thighs to help you up. And then you're gonna sit up nice and tall at the top. Staying here, I need to move, excuse me, thank you. Staying here at the top with your arms nice and long, reach through the fingertips and then draw your shoulders back so that your shoulder blades are flat on your back. And then you're gonna curl your tailbone under around halfway back and then peel yourself back up tall. Move your fleshy part of your glutes out of the way if you need, and then round yourself back. Think about opening through the front of the hips and then peel yourself back up one vertebrae at a time. 2 more. Peel yourself back. Relax through the toes. Stack your spine nice and tall. Last one, you're gonna stay here. You can bring your arms to make like a little circle, like you're driving a bus. And you're gonna lift one arm, lower the other, and then the other way, a bus, a car, I don't know, something with a really big wheel. And then to the center, keep tucking your tailbone under. Make sure that your abdominals are not pressing out. If they are, reduce your range of motion or bend your knees, breathe, make your arm motion smaller. 2 more. Last one. And to the left center, and then you're gonna twist and rotate to the right. Lower down 1/2 inch, lift up 1/2 inch. To the center, to the left, lower 1/2 inch, lift, center. And now this time we're just gonna stay to the right side. Lift and lower for 8, 7, 6. Really think about drawing your ribs towards your hips. This can be a really tiny motion. 3, 2, Last one to the center, and then over to the left for 8, 7, keeping your chest square between your arms, 3, 2, and last one. And then bring your hands back behind you and come onto your forearms in a, I don't know, I guess supported bridge-ish position with your upper body. Bring your right leg into tabletop and then extend it long. You're gonna bring your leg all the way down to the ground. Think about reaching long either through the heel or toe, whichever you prefer. Press up through the arms so that your chest is lifted. You're not hanging out in your shoulders, and then you're gonna lift the leg all the way, all the way, all the way up, and then bend it. And then extend, and then lower it all the way down to the floor. Reach long like you're using your inner thigh, your pelvic floor to lift, and then bend, extend, and lower down. 4 more like this. Lift, bend, extend, and lower. Finding that length through the back. You may find that your low back, as you move one leg here in this position, may start to release on one side and not the other. That's totally fine. We will do both sides. Bend, extend, lower down. This time you're gonna lift up, bring the leg to tabletop and pause here. You're gonna let your right leg fall out to the side and then resist to bring it back in. And open to the right, left leg stays still. And in for 4, pressing away from the floor through the upper body. Using your breath here. Again, small movement, but it's a stabilization that makes this challenging. 2. Last one. And then lower that leg down. Extend the left leg long towards the ceiling. Lower your leg all the way down. Reach long through the leg, lift from the inner thigh, from the pelvic floor. Bend the knee, extend, and lower down. And lift, bend, extend, lower down. If this is not comfortable for you, you can, of course, do this all the way down on your back. Just make sure that when you're lowering your leg all the way down, you're really using your lower body and your abdominals to lift the leg rather than your upper body. Bend the knee, extend, lower down, and lift and bend. 2 more. And extend, lower down, lift, and bend the leg. From here, let it fall out to the side and bring it back in. Six more. 5, knee in line with the toes. 3, 2, last one. And then either here in this position, you're gonna bring your right leg up to meet you, or you're gonna lower all the way down onto the floor. Your third option is hands behind your head with your knees in tabletop. From here, in this tabletop position, you're going to let both legs fall out to the side and then resist to bring them back in. And then both legs fall out, resist to bring them in. For 6, 5. You can think like you have the thigh master here. Wherever your knees are in space, they're staying at that same distance from your torso. So whether you're at 90 in a perfect tabletop or your knees like mine are closer to your body, that's totally fine. Just making sure that your abdominals are descending towards the floor, then pushing up towards the ceiling for 3, 2, and last one. And then bring the knees into your chest and roll over onto your right side. Stack your knees one on top of the other so that your knees are right in line with your hips. You're almost in a sideline tabletop, and you're supporting your head with your right hand. And then you're just gonna lift the right leg, top leg, left leg up, flex the foot, and then press down through that left leg. Your right leg stays relaxed on the floor, so you find that extension through the front of your hip, but not through your back or your ribs. And then bend the knee and bring it back in. If you bring your hand to your hip, that's definitely a helpful guide to find that extension through the front of the leg. You can always bring that hand by your back if you tend to arch through the low back. And then bend at the knee and bring it in. 4 more. Just really focusing on the ease of movement through that joint. Exhale, extend. Make sure your head is in line with your spine and you're not just trying to look down at your feet. For 3. 2. And last one. And then reach the left arm up towards the ceiling, and then let the left arm and left leg reach towards the ground. You can extend your right arm too. Just get a nice little side stretch here. And then you're gonna roll straight onto your stomach. And you're gonna have your hands right underneath your shoulders. And you will be laying all the way on the ground, nose gazing on the ground, and then you're just gonna press down through the hands, lift the head, neck, and shoulders up into your little baby cobra. Shoulders are sliding down your back, but you're not pulling them down your back. Hips are pressing down, tailbone is tucked under, and then you're gonna lower yourself all the way back down. And then press through the hands, lengthen through the front of the body. And then press back down into your arms as you lower down. Think about showing your collarbone to the world in front of you. Think about that length, lengthen through the neck, the back of the neck as well. So you're not just looking straight forward. And then lower yourself all the way back down. 2 more like this. Finding that length, tuck the tailbone under slightly, reach forward, hold here, hover the hands off the floor. And then lower the hands down, reset your spine, and then hover the hands again. And lower the hands down, and lift. Keeping that extension for 3. Tap the hands down, 2. Check the neck, check the tailbone, 2. Last one, lift the arms, keep them lifted, extend them long overhead, sweep them back by your sides, palms face the ceiling, and then lower yourself all the way down towards the ground, keeping your palms up, arms by your side. From here, lift the arms off the floor, externally rotate through the upper arm. Reach the fingers towards the toes as you lengthen and lift through the spine. Neck is nice and long, and then start to pump through the arms, inhaling for 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale. And exhale. Don't worry, we're not doing the full 100. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Pause here. Reach through the arms. Let the legs float up if that feels good. Reach the fingers and toes towards the wall behind you. Lift a little bit higher into your extension. Lengthen the neck. Tuck the tailbone under, and then lower yourself all the way back down to the floor. Press yourself up into a child's pose. Take a breath here. Take a little stretch in your flexion after all that extension. And then you're gonna come onto your left side now. So your head is gonna be in line with your spine. And then knees in line with your hips. So you're at that 90-degree angle. Head, just double check before you start moving. Hand can come to your hip or your low back, whatever you prefer. And then bring the feet forward. Lift through the legs so that your knee is in line with your hip. And then you're gonna extend through the leg, reach, reach, reach long. Find that extension through the hip. Lengthen through the leg, and then hinge at the hip. Feel the sitting bone reach back as you bring that knee in. And then press and extend. And then bring it back. Pressing that left leg down gently into the floor so that it's not trying to creep up and move with you. Staying stable through the front of your body. For 4. Bend. 3. Extending through the leg. 2. Last one. Good. And then bring that leg underneath you and then push yourself up. And now take your right leg and bring it right knee next to your left foot. So you're in this little Z-sit position. And then you're going to plant your left hand on the ground, bring your right hand onto your hip. And then you're going to think about reaching your sitting bone on the right side towards the floor. So you're really squaring off your pelvis, almost bringing that right hip back slightly. And then press the right hip into your right hand as you twist and rotate, looking up over your left shoulder. That right hip is now fully in the air. And now you're going to hinge at that hip, crease it as you send your right sitting bone back down towards the floor. And then up and again, twist and rotate. Make this nice and gentle. This should feel good, but try to find a little extra range of motion as you move through this. So don't forget to breathe. Exhale, lower. One more time, just like this. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then reach your right arm up and over, side bend towards the left. Feel your right sitting bone reach down to the floor in opposition. And then stack yourself all the way up tall. Grab onto your right shin with your right hand and side bend up and over towards the right side now. Think you can also bring your hand to your ribs and think about breathing into your ribs, whatever feels nice here, but really think about reaching. And then you're just going to swivel your legs around in front of you. So your right shin will be facing the same direction as you, your left knee by your right foot, right shin perpendicular. Just right off the bat, notice where your pelvis is in space. Plant your right hand down, left hand on your hip. Send that left hip down, and then lift and rotate. As small or as big of a range of motion as feels good for you. And then, like you have a magnet connected to that sitting bone, find your neutral, crease at the hip, let it connect with the floor. And then twist up and around. And when I say connect with the floor, if it's 3 inches from the ground, who cares? But maybe you can reach. Maybe if you do this enough and you open up through your hip a little. One day, that's my goal. Lift up and twist. And back down. Last one. And then come all the way back. Reach up with that left arm, side bend up and over, press into the right hand. Do side bend towards the right and send that left hip towards the floor. Relax the shoulders. And side bend up and over to the left. And again, you can bring your left hand onto your right ribs. As you inhale and breathe. Or you can just keep your hand on your shin rather. And then come all the way around and find your all fours. Extend your left leg back behind you. Extend your right arm back behind you and float them both up. Hold here, take a big inhale and exhale. And just staying here in space, nice and still for 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. And exhale. Lower your arm, lower your leg. Switch sides. Extend your arm and leg. Find yourself nice and steady. And then like we did at the beginning of class, lengthen your neck and take a big inhale. And exhale, feel your abdominals draw away from the floor. 2 more breaths, inhale. Last one. And exhale. And then plant your arm and leg underneath you. And then reach your hands slightly forward, tuck your toes under, sit back onto your heels. Stretching out through the feet. And then press back into the feet, send your heels down towards the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need in your down dog. And then walk yourself back to your hands. We're gonna end with a little bit of balance. And then find the place where you're nice and square on your feet, nod your chin, roll yourself up. Pull 1 vertebrae at a time. Again, if you have something you wanna hold on to, the wall, a counter, by all means, go for that couch. If not, you're gonna come to stand with your feet hip distance, and you're gonna bring your right leg up into tabletop. From here, finding your balance on that left leg, you're gonna extend your right arm in a same position. And you're gonna extend your right arm and right leg long. And then you're gonna bend them both to their respective tabletop position. And then extend them long and bend. 4 more. Balancing on that left leg. 3. 2. Last one. Bend them back to that starting position, and then you're gonna hinge around your left leg and extend your left arm, right leg, and then come back to that starting position. We're gonna do 5 more. Reach and extend. You don't need to worry about coming into a nice long, well, you wanna be a nice long line, but you don't need to be like parallel to the floor. Just working on your balance. Mine is awful today, so this is probably very useful. For 3. 2, using your breath, holding on as you need, feeling your abdominals doing work here so you're not just flailing. Last one. Reach and hold. Inhale for 1 breath. And exhale. And then on your inhale, come all the way back up to your starting position, lower that leg down. Good. And then same thing on the other side. So arm and leg into that tabletop position. Extend the arm, extend the leg. Bend it back in for 6. And extend 5. 4. 3. Shoulders are relaxed, ribs are drawn in. 2. Last one. Good. Holding this position, you're gonna reach your right arm and left leg long in opposition, hinge around that standing leg, and then bring yourself back to start. 5 more. 4. 3 more. Moving nice and slowly. 2. 1. Last one. Hold here, arm and leg extended in opposition. Take a big breath in. And exhale. And then on your inhale, come back to where you started. Plant your left foot down. Come up onto your toes. Reach your arms up overhead. Clasp your thumbs. Reach your fingers still towards the ceiling. Same with the crown of your head as you lower your feet down. And then side bend up and over to the right. And then to the center. And then over to the left, root down to your opposite foot. And then let your hands come down by your sides, and we will end like we started. So nod your chin, lengthen through the back of your neck, And slowly round yourself down, one vertebrae at a time. Knees are nice and soft, feet hip distance are a little wider. Bend your knees, take a big inhale, and then exhale, find a little bit more length. Inhale here, and on your exhale, peel yourself all the way up, one vertebrae at a time, until your spine stacks one vertebrae on top of the other. Let your head find its place on top of your spine, and you are all finished. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Veronica.